The Sun's return is getting more imminent by the day. Right now in the PTR we discovered cultists abandoned by Xal'atath that returned to Masters, trying to dig out a Catraxi general around Zul'aman. Last time this happened, the old gods almost took over the world. To make this crazier, Azshara, his former servant, is about to return, and most importantly, we datamined a void infused N'alotha model like a month or two back. The old gods are apparently just minions of the void, yet they look so different when you compare it to the current void army, and are a lot more fleshy and very likely transformed by Azeroth. This void infused version of N'alotha could be his true original form. So let's break down everything we know, and could N'alotha turn out to even be the final boss of this expansion, but not like in the past, this time in true Ny'alotha next to the world's soul. So Battle.net, Steam, GOG, you can have all this in one place with PlayTracker.net. No more friends across platforms, 5 different gaming libraries. PlayTracker solves all this by organizing and syncing everything into a single account. So you got unified playtime for all your games, achievements, all your friends cross-platform, and best of all, there is a really cool leveling and quest system as well where you can unlock a bunch of new features. So connect all your gaming profiles right now and create a free account with PlayTracker.net with my link below. So the return of Azshara has been in the talks for years by this point, as his defeat has been left open-ended ever since BFA. I mean, technically we defeated him, but it was this whole convoluted thing where we didn't really go to Ny'alotha, the real one, and we still don't know where this location was or what was going on, but they seriously foreshadowed this recently in the Board Within when they connected him and Xal'atath and created this mysterious pact that I think is soon going to fully unravel, as that was really left open-ended as well. This all started with N'alotha and the Il'gynoth whispers that have kind of become a bit of a meme at this point, because how long we just talked about this and it never ended up being the thing, but Il'gynoth is technically just growth of N'alotha, and everything he said is technically N'alotha speaking, and it is all about Xal'atath. There's so much stuff about Xal'atath, and it's obviously that Blizzard is building up upon it. So like, I know they didn't originally plan this, but it's obvious that they're going to build upon these whispers. Like, you may remember N'alotha's whisper where he said, "She's not the last one, but the first. Drown her and you will see." Potentially referring to her being the first of whatever she was, because we can see she was like a light user in the past. He also said, most importantly, like this is the most important whisper, the fall of night will reveal her true face. She will bring only ruin. I mean, guys, we got Midnight, aka the Fall of Night. She has gotten to the world's soul right now, and as he says, she will bring only ruin. To not repeat myself, I mean, let me just point out something that recently changed the lore that you might not have noticed. So, remember the War with him, when we had that cinematic of the old gods defeating Xal'atath and imprisoning her? Now, we have more context on that, but we still don't have the full context, so this is still mysterious. Apparently, N'alotha was building something in Ny'alotha which caused Xal'atath to attack with her pure, like, cosmic void army, and the old gods managed to defeat her. The entire lore that you may know of how the old gods are just like these minions of the Void Lords is very likely a complete lie. The Void Lords haven't been a thing for thousands of years with the new lore, which means the old gods were completely independent, and it also makes sense. I mean, did you notice that the old gods are technically void beings, but they're so different from this void, cosmic void army that you see? Do you notice how fleshy they are? I think the reason, like the true reason for that, is very likely Azeroth. I mean, we've recently learned how Azeroth gave free will to the Earthen that dug her prison, and it's likely that she also transformed these void minions, the old gods, who initially may have just been like simple like drones, simple minions, and the old gods got their free will through Azeroth with their fleshy structure, the so-called curse of flesh, that might not have even spread in the first place like as we originally thought, and then they kind of split away from the void and the old gods just kind of became their own thing. It's likely that the old gods are technically, like in a way, sort of native to Azeroth in their form as it is right now, and it just doesn't make sense. I mean, why do they look like what they look like despite being void minions? So, I mean, check it out, the Void Lords and the void minions, none of them are fleshy like the old gods and their armies, which means the old gods might have gotten in like this weird parasite like symbiosis with our world soul, and they abandoned their original plan of converting the world into the void and just kinda turned it into their own Black Empire realm. However, where this gets really interesting is that Ny'alotha was apparently building something in Ny'alotha, which is very likely close to the world soul where Xal'atath currently is. Remember, Xal'atath used the Sunwell to send her army to the core of Azeroth. This we learned about a month back. At the same time, two really interesting things happened. First, we datamined a void infused Ny'alotha model, which may have been his true form. As I said, Ny'alotha may have originally been more akin to like a void lord than an old god. And second, we just discovered in the prequel to 12.1 that Twilight cultists are digging out an ancient old god general. Remember, last time an old god general was dug out, a massive war started. Now we discovered that Zul'aman was built atop this place, atop the burial site of Kitix, a Catraxi old god servant, who was defeated apparently by some mysterious troll deity, which we'll figure out in 12.1. Now, the Twilight scammer guys were apparently also just abandoned by their new master Xal'atath, their new ruler, and they seem to have returned to the old gods because they say something along the lines of the masters will be pleased, and there's not many void masters currently going around. Now, the whole reason I'm even talking about Ny'alotha returning is because it was made clear that in that War Within, the World Soul Saga cinematic, that Xal'atath made some sort of a pact with Ny'alotha. Technically, it was Ny'alotha that ultimately freed Xal'atath, and that created this whole chain of events, but we still don't know what was the extent of their pact. They seem to have cooperated back in BFA, but I think they're going to truly cooperate now. The reason for that is what I mentioned at the start of the video. We never went to Ny'alotha, and we never truly saw Azshara like originally. This was sort of like this vision where we fought him. Ny'alotha is the capital of Ny'alotha of the Black Empire, and while we defeated him, we never truly figured out where exactly on Azeroth his prison is, the actual location, and I'm guessing it is going to be close to the World Soul, and that is the whole reason Xal'atath is working with him. There is a big possibility that Ny'alotha could turn out to be the final boss of Midnight, because so far we know 12.1 is an Amani patch, 12.1.5 very likely Forsaken patch related to the Forsaken, and 12.2 is going to be related to the World Soul where Xal'atath left. The whole main story is actually going to continue in 12.2, but I'm guessing 12.1 is going to introduce the Catraxi General to set this up. This means that Ny'alotha is truly returning, but this time we may face an actual old god. Like, this is his true location, his true prison, not some weakened version, some vision, but like an old god imprisoned in their former capital of the Black Empire. And I'm guessing this is what is going to trigger the last fight, and it's also possible that Xal'atath may fulfill her end of the bargain and to actually completely unleash Ny'alotha. Of course, this part is speculation, but the evidence does make this more and more clear. The old gods are once again becoming relevant. This is undeniable. They did technically say in an interview that Midnight won't be about the old gods, it will be about the cosmic void, and it probably will be until the end of Midnight, but you gotta notice that first of all, we got the foreshadowing of Azshara returning and the Naga being all over Qualtalas, and they used to serve and might still serve Ny'alotha. We have the datamined void version of Ny'alotha, which could be a vision, but it could be something bigger, and we also have the very recent development with the Catraxi General that the cultists are digging up. If the cultists are now serving the old gods or Ny'alotha, it could be on his order. He might be trying to awaken his Catraxi General for what is to come, and this could turn out to be a very interesting storyline. It's obvious that the whole Ny'alotha-Xal'atath pact has been left open-ended and is yet to conclude. Are they allies? Are they enemies? Or just currently they're allies? And do they even have the same goal? The old gods return to their old void roots and maybe they wanna now help the void? It's really just hard to tell. We can really only speculate. Personally, I feel like Ny'alotha, as the most intelligent old god, is probably not going to turn out to just be like a minion of Xal'atath, but maybe in these end times that are coming for Azeroth, they may actually kind of band together. What is certain is that all the lore we knew before is very likely just BS. It's highly unlikely that the old gods are just like these simple minions of the Void Lords, and they're more powerful than we thought. Seeing these guys actually manage to defeat Xal'atath and imprison her for thousands of years, so something big is really about to happen. Thanks for watching. Check out the new Sky Elves we discovered by clicking on the screen, and subscribe to my brand new Witcher lore channel that recently opened by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time!